Welcome to Prunership Diaries. Today we have with us Arjun Sishir, who is a Lucie Award winning photographer who completed his formal education in photography from the prestigious RMIT University, Australia. He started his career in 2009 as an advertising and fashion photographer in India and later explored the Middle Eastern market in UAE and Sultanate of Oman for almost half a decade. His technical expertise gave him the opportunity to work with clients including Playboy Menswear, Shangri La Resorts, Mercedes Benz, Kodak Leaf, Wave Muscat, Airtel, British Airways, Oman Air, Millenium Resorts, Royal Opera House, STS Tebodin, Ramada Resorts, Grand Millenium Hotel, Bang Muscat, and Opera Galleria, to name a few.
That's
Well,
too
that's
much.
quite an amazing list of clients.
Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you.
Arjun, welcome to my show. I'm so
Thanks a
glad
lot.
and honored to have you here,
My
and
pleasure.
and to talk to you about photography and, of course, the art and beauty of it.
Absolutely. My pleasure. My pleasure, Shweta.
Great, thank you, Arjun. So let's get started then.
Sure.
Um, so I'm going to ask you a pretty straightforward question. So, how
Mm,
did you decide on becoming a photographer
mm.
and choosing that as a career? Like, was it right after you graduating 12th, or was it? How did it all happen? I'm just so very curious.
So it was totally an accident, Shweta, in the
Mm-hmm.
sense like up till let's say the end of my high schooling,
Mm-hmm.
I've never even used let's say a point and shoot camera. Had never even touched one.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to be an architect. I was pretty good at let's say science and math. I was fascinated by with science and math.
Right.
My teachers might disagree with me, but I was fascinated, and I wanted to do architecture, and I did the how do you say? I did took a training after 12th, and I also did an aptitude test for B Arc. I
Right.
also got a seat into a pretty reputed institute in Chennai.
Wow.
But then, as they say, luck would have it. I joined visual communication, um,
Okay.
and that was because my cousin brother, his name is KP Sunil.
Mm-hmm.
So he
Mm-hmm.
was back then the vice president of JRTV.
Right.
So he felt that this course might be the right, it might be like apt for me.
Ah.
So,
Okay.
I don't know what he saw in that, but I joined, and I thought the first year was, I thought that I made a complete blunder. I mean, I seriously thought that I made a blunder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was only in the second year that I was kind of introduced to photography and two other gentlemen. One is Mr. R. Tirumaran,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is Aravind sir.
Mm-hmm.
So RT sir or R. Tirumaran sir is someone who you have to pull out the information from him. Is that kind of a person? He
Mm-hmm.
was like technical genius. Whatever questions you had in terms of photography or anything to do with art,
Right.
he was a technical genius, and he had a way of putting it out. But you had to get the information out of him.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the other person is Arvind sir again. He's kind of like a friend to me right now. So whether I went to the college or not, I would actually be waiting at his residence, and I would wait for him to come back, and I'll bombard him with a lot of technical questions.
Wow.
And he always had an answer for every single question. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, these guys played a huge role in my career in terms of showcasing me the path that this is what I wanted to do. And it was then in the third year that I was introduced to the processing of film.
Right.
We were shooting on film pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So take a picture, go process it, then select the negative, looking through a loop or a, what do you say, a viewfinder. I mean, what do you say, the light box,
Yes.
and then finally taking it to the dark room, printing, and suddenly you see the whole idea of you saw something through a viewfinder of a camera, and now suddenly you see it in
Right.
print. The whole feel
Yes.
was like, that's when I decided that yeah, this is definitely my career. So
All right.
that is it. That's the reason I chose photography.
Okay. So this course that you did, it was for a period of 4 years, is it? Or
No, the one that is just 2 years. The one I did in specialized in RMIT in Australia. That is
okay.
just 2 years course.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah,
Perfect. So
mm,
once you finished the photography course and you said you were interested in it,
absolutely.
so what were the challenges that you faced right after that, and was it difficult to get opportunities because you were learning photography and you were interested in it, but then was it easy to come across opportunities?
For sure, in the sense like it's pretty much like any field that you get into.
Mm-hmm.
I think initially when I got back from Australia, I wanted to assist, the big names in Chennai because I wanted to understand the Indian industry.
Right.
So I approached a couple of big names in Chennai, but unfortunately, it didn't work out. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
was not able to assist anyone for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I did feel a bit rejected, but then no regrets. But I moved on,
Yeah.
and then see the other thing about photography is that it's a field where you don't have any specific income as such.
Right.
So let's say this month I do like 20 shoots a month,
Mm-hmm.
20 days of shoots a month.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a huge amount, and that you get in. The
Yes.
next month there will be nothing, absolutely nothing.
Correct.
So that is a difficult part.
Right.
But I think I managed it. And see, the other big problem that we do as photographers in the beginning is that we choose the wrong projects. I mean, the month that I don't have any projects, I get a
Yes.
project. I just think, okay, some money,
Right.
whatever be, it, let's do it. And
Mm-hmm.
that is something which I realized later on that it was a huge mistake that I was making, and I started to learn to say no to projects. And the
Yes.
moment I started doing that, I was getting the projects that I wanted, literally. So
Right.
that's how that's something which I believe the future generation should definitely take into consideration, saying no to projects as well.
Oh yes, I mean I totally agree with you. I think
Yeah,
when we're beginning, I mean, be it in any field, I think
absolutely.
we just want to get started and we want the opportunities to just come by and we just take
Very
in
true.
everything.
Absolutely, absolutely true.
But then I think at a point in time actually realize, you know what, I need to make put out quality content out there, be it whatever.
Exactly.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, totally agree with you. And I know, I mean, probably even for me initially, it was like hard to say no. I think
Exactly. I understand.
there's a complete art to it. Okay, the art
Very
of
true.
saying
Very
no.
true. Absolutely. I mean, I learned it. It took me a while, but then yes, I had to. See, I mean,
Yes.
that's the reason why I chose photography. It's
Mm-hmm.
for satisfaction.
Yes,
But then if I had to do things that I was not liking, then
I know.
that was like, yeah, then it doesn't make sense.
Yes, absolutely. So, when you
Hmm,
said that, you were actually taking on a lot of projects at that point in
hmm,
time. So,
hmm.
how did you choose your genre? Like you currently an advertising and
Very good question.
fashion photographer.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
was it like, you went through, you explored all the genres and then came into fashion photography, or how did that happen?
Absolutely. Absolutely true in the sense, see, initially when I started out, I thought I would become a tabletop photographer. I
Uh-huh.
thought I would become a product specialist
Right.
because I was not good with people. I'll be very honest with you. I'm not good dealing with people. No, I'm not a human. I'm not good at that.
Okay.
So I thought I would be very good with products and all that. But
Mm-hmm.
the more I dealt with, see, I believe that you have to explore every genre of photography
Yes.
to realize what you're good at.
True.
You will understand your strengths.
True.
And I then later on realized that my strength is in surrealism and seeing things in a very different way.
Yes.
So yeah, that's how I got into finally becoming a pure advertising photographer.
Uh-huh.
Fashion, I have no clue. I don't understand fashion in reality, but then
Okay.
I see the colors and light, and that's the only way I see fashion as such.
All
So yeah,
right.
that's how I got into that genre. Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. I also want to ask you,
Mm, mm,
like when you were starting off, or you did get the opportunities, but
yeah.
were there any mediums or platforms where you used to put out your work so that clients could reach out to you, or was it initially like word of mouth that there is a photographer called Arjun and let's reach out to him? How did that all happen? Like, did you use any particular platforms?
Um, I mean, it's not the case today, but
Mm-hmm.
back then it was like you had two options.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a printed portfolio,
Right.
which is what you take it to your what do you say, the art directors and creative directors. I mean, they are your potential clients. I mean, they are the
Yes.
ones who choose you for any particular project as it is.
Yes.
And you also had to keep a website. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
there's another website called arjunsishir.com. I mean, though it's
Right.
not like uploaded currently or anything, but still.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for the potential clients who might hear your name somewhere here or there, and then I mean that's pretty much it. I mean today it's a completely different world.
Right.
I don't even know if anybody carries a what do you say a printed
Yeah.
portfolio.
Right.
It's completely digital. I think social media has taken over it. But
Yes.
world has been kind of different in the past 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
because I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten quite a lot into fine art photography, and it's all about printing. It's literally about printing, and it's about literally huge prints as well.
Wow.
So I mean, working on Herhan Mule, which lasts for like 50 years and 100 years kind of prints.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
mean, that's my passion. That's where that's one of the reasons I got into photography as well. So I'm
Yes.
back there. So
Yes.
it's back to printing again. Yeah.
All right. We will shortly get back to, probably processing and printing and all of that because I think there is a, entire ball game altogether.
Absolutely true. Absolutely
Yes.
true.
So before that, I want to know,
Yeah.
I want to know the story behind you winning the Lucie Award.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
the entire story, how did you get into it? And also your winning image, what was it all about? And if you could also let us know about, the setup per se for the
Mhm.
for the image, or
True.
I don't know. I mean, if you can run us through how it was for you, right from when you took the image and you actually probably put it across to the guild and then of course winning it, so yes.
See, Lucy War, it's a lovely, interesting story in the sense like
Hmm.
back at RMIT University in Australia.
Right.
Uh, See, I used to get along with my friends for a beer or drink or things,
Hmm.
and instead of saying cheers, I used to say Lucy, and they used to make fun of me, saying, "Arjun, you're like absolutely crazy. You're not gonna win this. It's like all in your head."
Yes.
But I was like, why not? I mean, I can. So I believed in myself.
Hmm.
Then I got back to India. I was creating my own portfolio so that I was not assisting anyone.
Hmm.
So I had to make my own portfolio to go and approach a different the art directors and potential clients.
Right.
And that's when see, when you showcase your work, right? It's very imperative that your style is very. I mean, it's showcased very clearly,
Hmm.
and that's when I saw this Davidoff perfume bottle, and I just felt that it just looked like a melting ice cube to me. So I decided to take a picture of that. So
Right.
I kept it on a perspex glass, a black perspex glass,
Hmm.
and then poured a bit of water, and then I placed in aqua a cyanish background,
Uh-huh.
and I lit it in such a way that it just looks like a melting ice cube. That's it. So there's no what do you say, digital correction or anything on that.
Wow.
So, and the great thing was that, yeah, I gave it the caption Ice, and I won the Lucy Award. And later on, there was this interesting article about me on in Hindu,
Hmm.
and I think it was Prince who wrote about it. So he said that he sees what the eye can't, but the mind can. I think that
Ah.
clearly describes my style of looking at an image and my work
Yes.
culture, let's say. So
Wow.
So that is a story about Lucy Award, literally. So yeah,
I mean, that's wonderful. And I gather you have put up this photo on your website, isn't it? I
which one?
The ice one.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. I mean, see, what you see
Yes.
are not
Yes.
necessarily like my current works or anything. It's just
Hmm.
some of the images that I like. It's just random images that I like,
Right.
and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not big on social media at all. I'm still very, very old school, and
Okay.
I have my own clientele who trust my style. So
Yes.
cool, yeah, yeah, it works for me.
Absolutely. I'm curious to know what was the gear that you used, the lens, the camera, for
Okay.
taking that photo.
Yeah, I started off with a medium format camera, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, I think it was like uh, Arvind sir. I had mentioned, right. I mean, he's the one who said that your kind of work resembles a very slow, steady, planned approach.
Uh-huh.
So a small format camera is something which you might not be the right person for.
Uh-huh.
So I started off with the medium format camera, and then I won what do you say, the Mamiya AFD 645,
Mm-hmm.
and then later in Australia I won a competition where I could choose anything for 10,000 Australian dollars,
Wow.
and I chose a 6 megapixel Leaf digital back, and
Ah,
that's how I got into digital career, and
right.
then I came back to India, and I shot this image.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the whole concept was I didn't want to do too much of digital corrections as such.
Yes.
But I just wanted to keep it simple, straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the thing captured in camera. So yeah, that's how it happened.
Right.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I mean, I really like your, I think the enthusiasm when, you always caught up with your
Slam.
friends. Yes, Lucy, and you did it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I mean, they call me and they say the same thing. Arjun, you did it.
I know. Oh, that's wonderful.
So,
Great, great, amazing. All right. So Arjun,
yeah.
yes, we come to the part of post-processing.
Hmm,
I think for all the laymen out here and the listeners out there who are just, probably curious about photography or who know a bit about photography,
hmm.
I think it's all about taking the photo, right? I mean,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
but there's
Hmm.
also a second part of photography which is retouching, color correction, then there's the post processing, all of that.
Absolutely.
And that is a different, I mean, I think it's the second phase if I could say.
Absolutely. It's a part of it. It's a part of it.
Yes. So could you elaborate more into this and let us know about, what is this process? Because I know for sure, like even, I mean, myself, I mean, I do dabble into a bit of photography, but
Yeah.
when I started off, for me, it was all about taking pictures or which angle, this, that, or probably trying out various other lenses. But then it was only much
Absolutely.
later, probably a year or two later is when I realized, oh my God, there is an entire different world out there with post
Absolutely.
processing. I need to learn that. So yes,
Absolutely
all
true.
yours, Arjun. I want to know what you have to say to
Yeah,
this.
see, the good thing is that I started off with film. So even back then, there was this whole process of going to the dark room and processing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I learned it the right way, I would say, rather than the Photoshop way.
Hmm.
There was dodging, there was burning, there was like, what do you say, merging two images together. It all happened in film as well.
Wow.
It was just that it took a week to get all those things done. Photoshop made it easier.
Mm-hmm.
But then, be it film or digital, one of the key things is so you have a vision in your mind, and uh, you're going about trying to create it. I mean, like the
Mm-hmm.
closest to what you had in your mind,
Yes.
and so you already know what the final post processing is going to be, what grading you're going to do, what
Mm-hmm.
are the elements you need to shoot, how is it going to look like in the final image. It's
Right.
so much of pre-planning as well. When you talk about post processing, there's so
Yes.
much of pre-planning in this whole when it comes to a commercial shoot. So I mean, the more planned you are, you're closer to getting the final output. So
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of work involved. I mean, you try to keep it as less as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get it achieve everything on camera itself, so
Right.
that whatever said and done when you post process an image, there's always a touch of artificialness to it, be it the
Yes.
skin retouching or anything.
Yes.
So I mean, keeping it as real as possible
Mm-hmm.
is a motto that I believe in. But yeah, the key word would be pre-planning. I mean, if you know what you're going to achieve, if
Right.
you have a vision in your mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's much better. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So it's something that I'm giving you as, I mean, advising you as well. So before you
Yes.
shoot something, right, just think what exactly you need.
Yes,
So
absolutely. I mean, of course, it does. Rather than just going out there and just clicking some random images, of course, when you
absolutely,
have a plan on your mind, you obviously know what needs to be done, when you have to
very
take it,
true.
the lighting, and everything of that.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Yes. All right.
Cool.
I want to know, like, when you say
Hmm.
that, of course, you need to have a plan in mind. I mean, with
Yeah, yeah,
pertaining to the photography as well as the
yeah.
post processing aspect.
Absolutely.
So when the clients get in touch with you and they want a particular, probably a photo of something, probably their resort or anything.
Campaign. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just want to understand. So, would you be given a set of guidelines that it has to look something like this, or I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know about it, but I all I want to ask is there
Hmm.
some guidelines which they give that we want it in such and such a format, and these are the things that you need to take care of, and yeah. So how does that happen?
See, absolutely. I mean, the client tells you very clearly where the images are going to be used.
Uh huh.
So, how many images would they require?
Mm-hmm.
So, in a way, you're creating a campaign, or in other words, you're creating an image bank for them.
Right.
Um, so, I mean, of course, the initial part is where I mean, the photographer and the art director, we sit together along with the client and we come up with a concept. We
Mm-hmm.
discuss with the client, and the client, once he approves the final idea, so we have a layout, this is what it's going to look like, it is done. Yeah, there are restrictions.
Yeah.
So, for instance, let's say if it's Airtel would
Mm-hmm.
definitely, they have a guideline book which says there should be so much percentage of red in an image.
Ah.
So that is something which, as a photographer, you got to follow. And then the second part would be taking this to your team, as in like the hairstylist, the makeup artist, your stylist. Then you have your
Yes.
location manager. There's a whole production unit, and it's very important that the models as well. I mean, see, the key thing is it's got to be a comfortable team, because you're talking about, let's say, minimum 25 to 30 people, and you
Right.
all discuss about the whole project on how to go about it and what the final look is going to be. And then on the day of the shoot, it's like, go ahead. I mean, everyone has got a job. Everybody has.
Yes.
If they stick to that, you're very close to the final. I mean, the exact final image. So
Right. So.
sometimes, yeah, we might have a bad day. One of the
Mhm.
team member might have a bad day. But then the key thing is, remember that it is a teamwork. It's not just the
Yes.
photographer. The photographer is only the captain of the ship, or let's say the director of the team.
Yeah.
But it's like everyone has to play a role there, and that's important to the whole team. It is purely a teamwork.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah, I was just wanting to just say
yeah,
right
that's
just
right.
that with respect to the teamwork.
Hmm.
Also, I mean, I'm just curious to know. So, how could you walk us through a day of yours? I mean, during a photo shoot, how does your day
Yeah,
go?
sure. See, it's all planned, as I said. I mean,
Hmm.
most of the discussion is done beforehand. So even choosing the models, we have a word with them.
Hmm.
Most of the time, we'll have to fly in models from, let's say, Bombay, Delhi. I mean, sometimes from Bangalore when I'm shooting in Chennai. Okay, so
Hmm.
um, and the point is, you choose the models accordingly,
Uh-huh.
but you also choose models. I mean, see, you pay big time. You really pay big time for the models. The reason is that you don't want what do you say, hiccup during the shoot. So
Right.
let's say I give a brief to the model,
Hmm.
um, and I say, okay, let's start. And she would keep posting. And I just have to capture the images. And the
Yes.
key thing that you got to understand here is that the client is paying you. The client is investing money in me and the whole team there. Okay.
Hmm.
So you got to remember that you got to be professional there. The key word would be professionalism.
Yes.
There's no question of, being late to the set or anything, but you just got to be absolutely professional. I mean, that's the word. That's the word there.
All right. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I know, I mean, you have worked with a lot of clients, I mean, brands, I mean, like world over. So how has this experience been? I mean, working with big brands like Mercedes Benz, Playboy, Airtel, British Airways. So how has it been?
Oh, see, I'll be honest with you.
Hmm.
Brand names don't really matter to me anymore. I mean,
Okay.
initially it was. I mean, initially when you say shooting for Mercedes, there is a lot of wage to that. Okay,
Hmm.
and I have worked with an absolutely huge client.
Hmm.
I don't want to use the name. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to say the brand name,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it's one of the most boring images or the work that I've ever done. So the brand name that doesn't really matter. But
Yes.
what worked in my life would be, see, the first ever campaign, advertising campaign that I did
Hmm.
was for Playboy menswear,
Hmm.
and it was a direct client there.
Mm.
He gave me the complete creative freedom
Okay.
to do whatever I wanted.
Hmm.
So, but we still had to get the approval from the American headquarters and all that.
Hmm.
Um, but the key thing is, the client loved the image so much, and that was my first ever campaign. So it gave me so much of a confidence to, you know, to move forward.
Right.
And then later on, working with clients like again British Airways or Mercedes or the
Hmm.
Ramada, Shangri La, Royal Opera House. The I mean, that's more of, they already know what your style is,
Hmm.
so they're coming to you purely for that style. So
Right.
you don't have too much of a creative freedom there,
Hmm.
but still it's like, that is that creative freedom around that surrounding. That's it.
Yes.
But so again, I mean, it's always great to work with big clients because you get exposed to, I mean, different people as well.
Yes.
I don't see brand as a deal there, because some of the best campaigns that I've done
Right.
is probably for very, very small clients. I mean, the client name won't be as big, but
Yes.
it doesn't matter to me at least.
Or no, I mean that's wonderful. I mean, as long as you enjoy what you're doing at be it a brand name or not, I think as long as you're putting out quality work and you're enjoying it, I think that's it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, isn't that the reason why you get into such a field? It is for
Yes,
satisfaction, your creative satisfaction.
absolutely.
So, yeah, yeah.
Yes. And I want to know, like, is there a photo shoot or a certain project which you really, really enjoyed doing?
Oh yeah. I did a shoot for uh, so it was for Kodak Leaf calendar.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, it's a digital back. I mean, so you attach that to the medium format camera.
Mm-hmm.
So it was for Kodak Leaf's calendar, Asia Pacific calendar. So they asked me to shoot an image of an old tree,
Uh-huh.
and so I went to Oroville with my professor Arvind sir.
Uh-huh.
We both went there, and we took my big camera. I mean, it's a huge camera, by the way. Okay,
All right.
and all the heavy lights and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that when it's like 6:37, that's when we wanted to shoot. It might be dark, and we might need a torchlight just for the snakes and the reptiles and stuff. So we
Yes.
got a 110 rupees LED light, torchlight,
Mm-hmm.
and just for recce purpose, we had a 20,000 rupees Canon 1100D, just for recce. I mean, just to take random pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But we went to the location, and we were like, with the lights and my camera, we're shooting absolutely nothing. In a sense, like it was grainy, it was very noisy.
Ah.
So we had no other choice but to shoot with the LED torchlight. So
Ah.
if you notice, you would see a tree shot that's like just pure light painting. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and
Yes.
that's like 11 images just pasted on top of each other. That's it. That's
Really?
one of my most, yeah. That's one of. I mean, it's just such a feel. I mean, I mean, you don't see it while you're painting because
Yes.
it's like a 30-second exposure. I mean, and finally, when you merge all the images, that's when you see, wow, it's like the whole tree is lit. It's such a beautiful thing. Yeah. So that is one of my favorite projects ever. Yeah,
Oh, wow. I mean, that's very intriguing the way you did it.
I know. We never expected that. I mean, that's something.
Oh,
Uh,
wonderful. Oh, I think I need to go back and check the image again. I mean,
Please do,
I did
please do,
go
and you
through
will.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll go back
You
and check
have
it
to see
again.
it. Absolutely, absolutely.
Wow, amazing. All right. Okay. Okay, I'm talking about the business perspective at the moment. So how do you
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
track of your various projects and your work as, I mean, you are a solopreneur, I understand. So how do you keep track of all the various projects and that to like across the world, and you're traveling like every now and then for the projects? So I mean, if you can let us know, if are there any challenges, and also, of course, what are the advantages of being a solopreneur?
See, the first thing would be see. I mean, I'm approached by what do you say, the advertising agencies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also on something called as the Production Paradise.
Uh-huh.
It's like a data of pretty much all the creative fields. Let's
Mm-hmm.
say hairstylists to makeup artists to photographers,
Mm-hmm.
location managers, not just in India, but literally worldwide.
Right.
So I get a lot of calls through them, through other production houses in
Mm-hmm.
different countries, and so I mean I don't really have to track anything as such. It's
Right.
purely like I get a mail and I respond to that, and
Yeah.
we go about working on something, and that's how we take
Mm-hmm.
it forward.
Okay.
But then being a solopreneur is something which I mean I don't think I would have ever worked under someone. I don't think I'm that sort of a character who can take it. I don't think 9 to 6 was any day my kind of lifestyle.
Yes.
So I mean, solopreneur. I mean, it's like um, it's the freedom. It's the freedom that you get
Right.
to wake up when you want to, uh, literally. And there are days. I mean, I'm talking about weeks of doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I like that as well, and
Yeah.
I like traveling. I'm a
Right.
very spiritual person, so I
Mm-hmm.
go to different locations solo traveling, and I meditate and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, unless in other ways you have that, you are a solopreneur. It's never going to work.
Yes.
And yes, when you have a work, you're excited and you want to do it as well. So I love being a solopreneur in reality.
Wow. All right. That's amazing. Okay. So if I mean, what would you like to say to budding photographers who want to make this as a career? So if you can let them know as to how to get started, or what is the gear that they should be starting off with, if there is something like that. And yeah, and I think you already mentioned that you started off with a medium format
Oh,
camera.
that's a bad way to start. That is
Yeah.
my stage.
Right. So if you can tell, I mean, for the beginners, how do they get
Yeah, yeah,
started, and how can they take photography, and what are the steps that they
exactly,
can
exactly.
follow?
Yeah,
And also, I want to know, what is the gear that you use?
sure. See, the first thing I would tell the current generation of photographers that I mean they've got to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
it is a field that, I mean, just because you think you know what you're doing, it doesn't mean that you will be hired.
Yes.
I'm very bad at social media. If you notice my Instagram account or anything, I'm just badly there. I'm badly there on Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just namesake. You know, I'm very old school in that.
Yeah.
So, but there are, I mean, current generation of photographers who come and ask me. I mean, like who's got like 10,000 followers,
Mm-hmm.
and they come and ask me. I mean, I've got 10,000 followers, and I still don't get this job.
Right.
So I say that, that's, I mean, it's something which I've built over 12 years now. It's
Mhm.
been 12 years since I've been doing this,
Wow.
and I mean, there are other ways of approaching people as well. And social media is one, but meeting in person also matters a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So having a feel of that personal connect. So I mean, a lot of people choose creative people purely for the feel,
Yeah.
how comfortable they are. So
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, that's one thing that I want to tell the what do you say? I mean, social media is good. There's no question about it, but use it wisely as well. And okay, the next thing, the gear thing. Okay,
Yes.
now I chose a medium format camera because and I would say it was a blunder. Okay,
Okay.
because see, it was good when I started because I was shooting with film, and even in digital, the number of images that I shot was like 10, or let's say 7 images to get one image. That's it.
Mm.
Okay, there's no question of 1,000 images or 100 images that you shoot today.
Right.
And I always had a Canon camera. Currently, I have a 5DS Canon 5DS
Mm-hmm.
R, which is again a 50 megapixel camera.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Hasselblad H4060,
Mm-hmm.
which I sold it because it's too expensive to hold on to. Well, what happens is you invest like 25 lakhs and 30 lakhs in such a camera and the
Mm-hmm.
lenses,
Mm-hmm.
and the so-called digital back keeps upgrading at such a
Yes.
pace.
Yes.
And if one small issue with the digital back, you have to send it back to Germany, or uh, that's a huge,
Right.
it doesn't make sense. So the best thing is, as I said, explore all the genres of photography,
Mm-hmm.
and then yes, let's say sports photography would require a special kind of lens.
Mm-hmm.
Wildlife would require a special kind of lens.
Yes.
Macro would require something else. Food will require something else. Uh, but then you can always hire it. Hire it from it's available everywhere.
Right.
So testing, you can test it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Then finally, you decide on what exactly you're good at. Let's say if it's like fashion photography. Okay, let's call it sports photography.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be sports means then you need to have specific cameras,
Yes.
and you just have to go for that particular camera
Mm-hmm.
and the lens.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you don't have to invest in the most expensive gear.
Right.
Remember that camera and lights, they're just a tool.
Mm.
As I said, I gave you the example of that LED light, 110 rupees LED light, and what do you say,
Yes.
a 1100D Canon camera. So
Yes.
you can use anything to get good images. So that's something which I would advise to the current generation, to be patient and not just click away at anything. Think and then click. That's something. Maybe because I'm from the film era. I started from the film era. I believe
Right.
in choosing the right. I mean, getting everything right and then take the picture. I mean, I see that nowadays most of them don't even use a viewfinder. They click and see, oh, that's bad. Okay, click here. Okay, so that's like, I mean, you're ruining the actual art of photography as well. So to me, yeah, personally, that's kind of sad. But yeah, I mean, there are some. I mean, the the cameras that available today. It's just made the whole art of photography a lot easier. To be
Easier.
honest with you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. All right. I mean, and thank you for that. I mean, I think
yeah,
the
yeah.
photographers out here is just starting off. I think it will be a good tip for them,
Absolutely.
to get started.
Hopefully. Sorry.
Wonderful. All right. So yeah, I also want to know, pertaining to the pandemic. Um,
Mm.
so I want to know, like, how was it for you? I mean, considering we were in the lockdown, and of course, it was lockdown in many other countries as well. So how did it? I mean, did it hamper your projects in any way, or I mean, did it go to a standstill phase, and then now you're back? And how has it been through the pandemic? If you could let us know about it.
Shweta, it was like, I mean, you cannot take a 25 to 30 people during this pandemic anywhere. I mean, even a shoot in Bangalore. I mean, there's
Yes.
like 3 shoots lined up in Bangalore before I came to Cochin.
Right.
And I mean, it's all in standstill. I mean, even now I've not done that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I've shoot in Dubai as well. Again, there's no way that I can go there.
Right.
The point being, if I go there, I'll be quarantined for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole process of getting 25 to 30
Yes.
odd people,
Yes.
it's very difficult. So, it's
Yes.
getting better. It's definitely gotten better. In
Right.
fact, even last week I was in Chennai doing a shoot for
Mm-hmm.
a client. So, things are getting better. I'll probably say, uh, yeah, in a month's time, I think things should be much more. I'm hoping that it will be in a much more better stage.
Right. Right.
But during the pandemic, I was totally fine in a sense. Like, see, it's just 6 to 8 months of doing nothing, and I was like in a different zone, and I was happy. I didn't have any issues. I was like, uh, within me. I mean, the happiness is within me. So I was like very happy there. Yeah, yeah,
That's so true. I mean, yes, I mean, I think it all depends on how we take the pandemic. I mean, I
exactly.
so totally understand with you when you just had to do nothing if the happiness is within you. I so resonate with
I get
that
it.
because that's what I've been
And
doing.
absolutely, absolutely,
Rather than thinking about okay, what next, what is going to happen, or okay,
exactly.
how should we react, or what should we do?
Very
Yeah,
true.
it's okay. Everything will happen. You just be at ease within yourself. I think everything
Absolutely,
will happen the way it has to.
very, very, very true.
Wonderful.
See, I mean, the thing is, looking for happiness in a second person, then
Yes.
there's no point. I mean, you need company means then you're not happy with yourself, and if
Yes.
you're not going to be happy with yourself, do you expect others to be happy with you? So that's the basic concept of life, I believe.
Yeah.
uh,
Yes. Absolutely.
so,
Right. So, Arjun, since you're in the creative field,
yeah.
I mean, there's always a creator's block, which, we all go through as creators. So, how do you handle that? Or, what do you do? I know you do travel and all, probably. But yes, I really want to know as to, how do you handle this creator's block?
See, it's something which happens to everyone. I mean,
Yes.
it's see, if it's during a shoot, the only thing you
Hmm.
can do is see, you got to have a strong basics,
Right.
a strong foundation.
Uh-huh.
So let's say it's a shoot for Mercedes.
Hmm.
Um, you know that this is angle, this is a lighting to get it safe, to get a safe, clean, basic shot, good shot.
Hmm.
Um, the next creativity, even if you have a creative block there, you've got the image, you've got a basic, decent shot.
Right.
And I mean, the clients, I mean, as long as they have that safe shot, they're fine. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
then you probably, once a shoot is done, you have to take a break,
Yes.
completely forget about that whole uh, incident,
Yes.
travel maybe, and that it happens. It happens. It's something. Uh, it's pretty common with creatives,
Right.
and and I mean, in general, that's how I go about it.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a creative block during a shoot, I just go for a small walk. I just say, hold on for a few minutes and just go talk to a few people, not about what's happening there,
Mm-hmm.
but about something else.
Yeah.
Get your mind off that, and then
Yes.
get back. You might have a completely fresh idea in your mind.
Right.
Just go about doing it. But it's something that will happen to you. It's good to take it in a chin and move forward, literally.
Right.
So,
Yes, absolutely. I think I so resonate with that. Just
yeah,
take your mind off that whatever that you're indulging in.
absolutely,
I think once
absolutely,
you just get back, I know you see it with fresh set of eyes. So yes.
correct, correct, absolutely true, very true.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm very interested to know this because I know it's your new project, and so
Oh,
you've been learning about apiculture.
yeah.
So, what made you to pursue that, and what are your plans?
Okay. See, I mean, see, I told you that I'm into fine art photography.
Uh-huh.
So currently, I'm working on microscopic photography.
Ah,
So that is going to be like, let's say, uh, like shooting 9,000 images for just one single, let's say, an image of an insect, a small insect.
oh my God.
So that's like using literally a microscope lens, an infinity corrected microscope lens, which you attach in front of your
Mm-hmm.
other lens and your camera and the rig and all that.
Mm-hmm.
so, so I was learning about that, and I've been commissioned to do that by one of my art collectors.
Okay.
So I was working on that. I was doing some research on that, and I mean, I've been very interested in animals, and I mean, I also know a lot about bees in general,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how important they are and all that. So I came across a video that was about the bees, and I was like fascinated by the video, to be honest. And so, I mean, it was more of like, and during Corona, there was nothing else to do. So I was like, I was researching, and theoretically, I'm like a pretty good, what do you say, appearist right now. But
Wow.
But yeah, practically, I wanted to see how it works, and
Mhm.
I got a couple of bee colonies from a beekeeper, and I have a couple of colonies up in my balcony here.
Wow.
So yeah, I started it. But see, it's just learning. To me, just learning, trying to understand what they are. They're just fascinating animals in the sense, like their hierarchy, their discipline. It's kind of like wow. I mean, you just sit there and watch them. It just teaches you calmness. You'll be like wow, what a what a creature.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's the deal with the apiculture thing. That's how apiculture got in. So I'm
Okay.
still working on it. I'm still studying some of the facts. Yeah,
I mean, that's interesting, Arjun.
absolutely.
Yes,
And yeah, the microscopic photography project. I mean, you'll see it soon.
Mhm.
It'll probably take me another 6 months to finish the whole project.
Wow.
And yeah, hopefully the world will see.
Right. I mean, that's wonderful. That
Yeah.
actually, leads me to ask this question. Uh, I mean, of course, I think it's always the same for an artist and also a photographer, and from various fields in in art,
Mm.
that you always tend to you always need to keep exploring, isn't it? I mean, you have like explored various genres, and then you did advertising and fashion photography for a while, and now you are delving into something which probably you're just learning all about it. So do you
Absolutely.
think it's very important for one to explore, or is it also important that one should stick to a genre? I don't know. What do you
See,
think?
see, if you're good at something,
Hmm.
uh, stick to it. But you're not going to forget that, right?
Yes.
But by exploring into a new territory, you're
Hmm.
also learning something new.
Exactly.
So let's say you know how to ride a cycle. So
Yes.
that's there. You're not going to forget how to ride a bicycle.
Right.
But then same thing, let's say you're learning to fly. That's a new exploration altogether. So I mean, when you explore, you might be like, okay, I like flying as well. So you try something new, and new things can come in. So that's what I believe in. I mean, at least.
Yes. Yes. Super. I totally
Yeah.
resonate with that too.
Cool, cool. Thank you.
Great. All right. All right. So coming to the last question.
Yeah,
So I mean, considering we did speak about the pandemic and everything, so we know that well-being is of utmost importance.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I want to know what your workout routine is like, and what do you indulge in apart from work?
See, I was always into, as I said, spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And see, to me, it was like just being in my own zone. I've been doing Surya Namaskaram for like, let's say, the past 5 years. And I'm also into meditation and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And see, as I said, if you look for happiness within you, you're kind of sorted to me.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and yeah, I do understand people who, what do you say, who lost their job. It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like who it is a sad thing, but in my case, there was no such case.
Mm-hmm.
But I can relate to the people who actually lost the job, and it's not easy for them to run a family or you know to live the way they did.
Right.
So, but then yeah, it's all about believing in something and being strong and waiting for the good time to arrive. Uh, hope, hope is what everybody's living with. So yeah, that's what I believe in.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So what I mean, what do you do? I mean, I know you said spirituality, meditation, and yoga, but apart from that, what else? I know you are actually learning about apiculture.
Yes, that was
um,
huge.
yes, right. So what else? I mean, apart from photography, like on a general level, like not with the pandemic around, but what else do you
Hmm.
indulge in?
See, I'm a very athletic person,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
so I'm always into sports.
Wow.
So uh, currently not into anything as such, but
Okay.
I follow everything
Okay.
on TV. When I get a
Mhm.
chance, I get play in Chennai leagues and all that with my
Oh,
friends.
wow.
So, so I mean, during the pandemic, it was more like yeah, as you said, right? It was more to do with apiculture and the microscopic photography and all that.
Yes.
I mean, it was 6 to 8 months of solid research, absolutely solid
Wow.
research. And I mean, when you are interested in something, it's just, I mean, I didn't even know the time flew by. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, and then keeping in touch with your friends. I mean, friends and your family, and
Right.
that keeps you very calm. very humble and down to earth, literally.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's like one of the key things. I mean, you're living for your family as well.
Absolutely.
So that
Great.
helps.
All right. Great, Arjun. Thank you so much. And so we come to the last section, which I call as the
Yeah.
Pruner Spotlight section. Um,
Wow. Okay.
so I'm just going to run you through a few random questions. It could be on the personal
Sure.
level or the professional level. So you could
Okay.
answer to me in a word or two or a couple of sentences. So I leave it to you.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay. So
Yeah.
shall we get started?
Absolutely good.
Okay, perfect. All right, first question. So, what is your ikigai? So, ikigai is nothing but the reason for your being. So what is the one thing which you do no matter what is happening around the world?
Being alive is awesome. That's it.
Yay, super! I love that. Well said, well said. Okay. Any person who inspires you, or any particular book which inspires you?
Uh,
Anything
I
you
want to give a couple of sentences
sure.
because I don't read books. Till date I've not completed a single novel in my life.
Okay.
uh,
Let's go to the inspiring
people.
person then.
Yeah. Uh, I think my father has inspired me quite a lot.
Mhm.
He's a mechanical engineer, but yeah, there's quite a lot of reasons why he inspires me.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. Hypothetically, if you
Hmm.
turn out to be the richest person in the world tomorrow, so
Hmm.
so what would you like to do, or would you continue to do what you're already doing?
I would definitely continue what I'm doing. I mean, even more opportunity to do what I like.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Perfect. Okay. So what is your secret of being productive in the multitude of the things that you're doing?
I would literally don't overthink. I would say
Hmm. Hmm.
just go with the flow. Pretty much that's it.
Yes. So just being totally involved with whatever that you're doing and just go with it.
At the moment, absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay.
Live in the present. I would say, yeah.
Yes. What is your definition of success?
Uh, See, it's happiness. To me, it's happiness.
Mhm.
And what is happiness is nothing but satisfaction.
Yes.
And so, I mean, you can make a lot of money and call it success, but I don't think that's success. I mean,
Yeah.
it's purely about happiness,
Yes.
and that is purely about satisfaction as well.
Mhm.
So, to me, it's happiness. The right word would be
Okay.
happiness. That's it.
Perfect.
That's success.
Perfect. All right. So, lastly, what is one takeaway that you want to give the audience, the listeners out here? So, considering many of them are, starting off a business, or they want to probably get on to starting a new one, or they're already started a business but they want to scale it to the next level. So, what would you like to tell to them? I mean, any particular insights or learnings or anything that you want to share with them?
And I mean, I always believed that, and the current scenario in India would be probably the ideal time for any entrepreneur. Literally, it's probably the best time to be. And just go ahead and give it all that you have. Absolutely. That's what I believe in. That's it.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Arjun. And could you let us know as to how one can reach out to you?
I think my email ID, that's pretty
Okay,
much it.
okay,
I'm just not active on any of the social media platforms.
all right.
My email ID is arjunsishir@gmail.com. That's it.
Perfect. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Arjun. I'll surely
No,
leave your email ID in the episode description or the show notes.
absolutely. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
So I just, I would like to thank you again for being out here and also, being a part of my show.
Oh,
It
pleasure.
really
My
means a
pleasure.
lot, because, it's, I mean, to talk to you about a whole lot of things, of course, photography and getting into the nitty gritties of, photography, and you being a very experienced photographer and a solopreneur. So it was great to listen to you and you sharing your insights with us. It's just been phenomenal. So thank you. And it was, again, a pleasure and a honor to have you.
And Shweta, it's a pleasure for me in the sense like, see, I'm glad that someone is talking to me about what I like literally, and so I'm glad that I spoke to you. It's been a long time in the I mean, I think we had a plan probably last month, and it
Yes.
was cancelled. So I'm glad that happened right now. It was my pleasure for sure. Thanks a
Yes.
lot.
Yes. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Shweta.